to my mind. I am a victim. My sister's crying. That was kind of live, but not really. Did you like that hold? That hold of note there, Mike?
I did. Unfortunately for the folks at home, they missed the actual live version of us playing along with it because, once again, I hit the preview button and not the live button. I don't know why they offer one or the other. Just pick one. Make it live.
That's okay because my headphones weren't working because I forgot to turn them on, so I wasn't hearing myself anyway.
Oh, well. We solved
and
the
us singers
technical
need
difficulty.
to hear ourselves when we sing the song, so we make sure we're in key.
Correct.
Make sure we're in key. So, what the fuck is up with John Mellencamp?
Well, that's what I want to know. I saw a reel of him going ballistic at a show where apparently he cut his show 10 songs short and walked off. I saw a very short clip. I didn't get the whole context.
I did see a very short clip as well. And I clicked it, but I didn't like watch it. But I think let's see what I have here. He stormed off stage after a fan shouts at him. He was fed up with a rowdy fan, so much that he stormed off stage during a recent performance. Also, in a brand new interview with the Washington Post, Mellencamp slammed fans for the rowdy behavior at his shows. Number one, how the fuck are you rowdy at John Mellencamp? We've been to John Mellencamp shows. It's not a rowdy fucking crowd, man. There's nothing rowdy about his music. There's nothing that gets you amped up and angry. And I mean, think about it. Hurt So Good. Okay, that's about sex. Jack and Diane, that's about sex. I Need a Lover, that's about sex. Cherry Bomb, it's about an era, right? Paper and Fire, it's about an era. Like there's nothing that would scream violence and anger.
When we saw him, people were dancing in the aisles, man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If that's rowdy these days.
Yeah, it was. We've talked about it.
And if one person is causing an incident, you don't ruin it for the entire crowd, right? You have that person escorted out of the show.
Right.
That's why I just, like, Agreed. He must be losing it, dude.
Well, I think that I love Mellencamp. I'm like a big fan. I've always liked his songwriting.
We had one of the best experiences of our lives. Talked about it.
We did. Right. Just an amazing entertainer at that time. I mean, at one point in time, all the house lights came on and we looked back and like the entire crowd was engaged. That was that show where Kenny Arnett, the drummer, Arnett, whatever. You and I talked about it. He brought his hand up to hit, Aronoff. He brought his hand up and hit his snare drum because when he hit the snare, it cracked, it broke, and you could hear it. If you're a musician, you heard that shit, you could tell. By the time he brought his hand back up and then brought it back down, his drum tech had swapped that fucking head out and never missed a beat. It was fucking amazing.
It was, man.
And you and I were like, holy shit, did you see that? I'm like, I saw that.
He never missed a beat.
Unbelievable that like never missed a beat.
Okay, so this time I had my computer plugged in, so I cannot be held responsible, I don't think. Doesn't matter. I lost Chris again. It's weird that it happens in the beginning like that. He'll be back. So anyway, I'll entertain you until then, I guess.
So
thank you everyone that's recently joined the Facebook page. Hopefully you've made it over here to Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. I've only found the video version on Spotify. I'm not sure if it's elsewhere. I haven't looked for a while, but the last time I did, it was just audio. So I don't usually watch my podcasts anyway, so I can't criticize anybody for not watching the video portion. I usually start it and put it in my pocket, and I'm doing whatever I'm doing, so I can't say I've ever watched too many podcasts. Every now and then you want to see what they're talking about if it's a visual, I guess. We don't have too many of those here so far because we don't want to get sued. Everybody's sue happy, so you can't really play music, and you got to be careful what videos you play on here and where it came from because they'll sue you for that too. So while we would love to play music because that's what we did, we can play our own music, but not other people's, unfortunately.
I don't know what happened.
It's all good.
It said I didn't have internet again.
I don't know. I plugged in this time.
I know, but I had internet. I don't know why I did that. That's what it did last time. Yeah, I don't know, dude. That's fucking weird.
It's all right. I welcomed all the people that have joined the Facebook page, and we talked about why we don't do a lot of other people's music or other people's videos on this podcast. We would love to. We're trying not to get sued, so.
Right. Well, what are they going to sue us for?
I just haven't looked. I'll learn the rules, man. I need some time to dig in and read them and figure out what we can and can't do. I know there's things we can do that we're not taking advantage of. I just need to find out what they are. And if there's people listening that know that, drop us a message and, give us some pointers. I would love to play music. That's what we do. But, that music belongs to other people, and I'm not 100% on the copyright laws yet. So.
Here's the thing. No publicity is bad publicity. So if we just start playing people's songs on our show like we're like podcast disc jockeys, what are they going to do? Shut us down? Okay, Chris and Mike show part 2.
We'll bring our legions of tens with us.
Right, because you got to start somewhere, man.
I know. I'm just being. I'm
so
being
there
funny.
Was that thing about. I know you. I like you being funny, man. You're a funny guy.
So we were talking about Mellencamp.
So it's weird. My iPad tries to pick up our show and tries to make me. Yeah, we were talking about Mellencamp.
What do you mean?
I don't. I was trying to watch it, but it's hard to. It's hard to watch it while we're on. I was watching it on my iPad, but it's hard to watch it when we're talking at the same time because he looks kind of angry in one of the scenes, man.
Okay,
Let's
so
see if I can pick it up here.
What I wanted you to figure out is whether I saw it in the context that I thought I did, and you've already confirmed that I did. I thought he was pissed at one person, and he cut the show 10 songs short for the whole rest of the audience. That's unacceptable as a entertainer, man. Especially at his level, man. There was probably minimum 12,000 people there, right? Minimum. He doesn't play small shows usually.
Depending on where he was at. But he played, last time he was here, he played one of those like Dodge Theater type celebrity theater places. I forget where it was. Cause Nikki and I went, and we were kind of like, what the fuck? Because he sounded terrible, dude. Like he sounded like he smokes a pack of cigarettes and drinks a fifth of Jack every day. That show. And he didn't allude to himself being sick. He didn't make any reference as to why he sounded as bad as he did. He did his show, but it was the pendulum swing, right? We saw him at his height.
Agreed.
And then I think Nikki and I saw him at his worst because it really was. It was fucking terrible. Like it was real dirty about Jack Doyen.
Yes.
It's kind of like guttural, straight up throat. Like it sounded painful.
So here's what saved me.
It'd be like Rob Zombie trying to sing John Mellencamp.
Here's what saved me is I had DirecTV still at the time. Probably this is going back, I don't know, maybe 10 years. And he, unfortunately for him, released a live concert on a channel called Access TV, which Mark Cuban owns. And I experienced the same thing
TV. Yeah, absolutely.
through my surround sound system that you and Nikki had to experience live in person. And I was like, what the fuck happened to cool John Mellencamp? Because this sucks. He became like a caricature of himself.
Yeah, something.
Because he was real grumpy and he sounded like shit.
Like a one-piece, yep.
Yeah,
totally
wearing that
grumpy.
stupid
when
painter's
we saw him,
fucking...
he was wearing like like one of those...
it's a painter's jumpsuit.
Painters, yeah. I was thinking...
he looks like a moron.
I was thinking auto mechanics, but yeah, same thing. Totally. And I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know.
I'm accepting.
Something's off. Something's off. Something's wrong with him somewhere, somehow.
I'm accepting of a lot of things. Like some of these athletes that dress like crazy, that's their prerogative. You know, we went on stage with long hair and you went on stage with no hair when it was socially unacceptable. So, you know, we know what it's like to shock people.
Right.
I'm all for shocking someone.
Yeah.
You can't just call yourself... what I get out of it as an artist is he called himself a legend in front of everybody, and you just don't do that. You know, Bob Dylan is one of the best songwriters on the planet. He doesn't go around telling everyone that. Jimi Hendrix was one of the greatest guitar players ever. He revolutionized music, right? He was the most humble person ever. He was like, I don't like praise and I don't like people telling me I'm good because there's somewhere I aspire to be that's at a higher level, right? That's what you are as an artist. You always want to be better.
Yeah.
I hate everything I do. I don't mean that in a self-deprecating way. I mean the next show's going to be better. Right. The next song's going to be better. Right. You know, everybody's like, oh, that's such a morbid way of looking at your art. No, it's not. It's not self-deprecating. It's, I know the next thing's going to be better because I'm going to learn from what I just did.
Yeah, exactly. And it's good. It's good to look at what you accomplished. You know, like I look at the Sort of Reason, the book I wrote, and I look at that as like, you know, I accomplished that at a young age. That was pretty badass, but I don't dwell on it. It's not hanging up on my wall like, ooh, you know, I don't dwell on that shit. I've never have. It's like, do it, done it, next. Do it, done it, next. And that's how we kind of always approached our shows. Do the best you can, then fucking next night we got to do the best can we can, and then the following night got to do the best can we can, and then the following week you just keep doing. You keep building on becoming better and better and better, which you don't ever really see yourself getting better and better and better. You get more and more people showing up to the shows, and you get more and more positive feedback, and you become tighter and tighter as a band. And all of a sudden everything's on autopilot, but you're still performing like it's the first time you performed. But you everything's muscle memory, and everything is so kind of choreographed subconsciously that you just do your thing. You just know where you are. It's kind of like acting. When you're on and when you're doing plays and stuff, you have marks you got to hit on the stage, and that's why you have all the rehearsals and stuff leading up to the dress rehearsal and leading up to the actual shows dropping, right? You ingrain that shit in your head where you're supposed to stand. This is how I deliver this line. I walk across stage, I'm doing that line. Walk across stage, I'm doing that line. So that was kind of like, you know, from a music standpoint, that's why I liked music, right? Because it incorporated everything. But you're never a legend. You're a legend when you die. Eddie Van Halen's a legend. But he was always he was a living legend. But I've never heard anything about him on a personal level. But I can't imagine him being a total prick, because look how genuine and humble Wolfgang comes across.
Right. So the quotes from Eddie that I've heard are paraphrasing. You know, kids would come up to him and call him a rock star or a guitar hero or whatever, and he would say, I'm not trying to be rude. I don't want to be called that. I don't like that. You know, he said, I always made it clear to my fans that I don't like that. I just want to play music and I want to have fun. And if you ever went to a Van Halen concert, which we did, nobody had more fun playing guitar than Eddie Van Halen. I don't think anybody ever had more fun doing anything than Eddie Van Halen. Yeah. He had a smile on his face from the moment he hit the stage till the moment he left. Whatever happened after that, you know, he had personal bouts with different people. I understand that. You and I have too. You know, we've had good times, bad times. the greatest of times, the worst of times. You and I have been through the highest of highs and lowest of lows being in a band together. That's just the way it is, man. That's your next family. You know, you grew up with your immediate family and you became an adult, and immediately we became another family. At least for me, because I was out there by myself. You know, you guys were my family. So
no, I agree with that 100%. No, I agree with that 100%.
I always used Eddie's lead and the guy that taught me to play guitar. And, you know, Bob was the same way. It was always, you can learn from anybody, man. Don't ever close your mind to any kind of music or anybody's skill level, or, you know, just always positive moving forward. We're trying to get better. We don't dwell on any negative thought as far as music goes. You know, it's not a competition. It's a camaraderie of like-minded people. We all just do different things, you know, appreciate that person's craft.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No matter what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I like 100%. So many kinds of
all
music.
levels of artistic. Yeah, I just can't get into rap, man. I'm not a big rap. I mean, I like some of the stuff
just can't
Eminem
relate
does,
to
which
it.
sounds cliche.
It's not that I don't like it.
No, I can't either. No, yeah. I mean, maybe that's what it is. Maybe there's no. Yeah, maybe that's exactly. Maybe you just solved that answer to that question.
If I've
never really been into rap, but that could be exactly why, because it's not relatable.
If I had a musician friend that was a rapper, and I spent enough time with them in the studio or watching them hone their craft, of course I could find an appreciation for the hard work that goes into it. But, you know, just like maybe they can't relate to what we do, you know, you just sometimes you come from different worlds, and that's okay too. I can't relate to Christian music. It makes my ears hurt, you know. I just think it's ridiculous. But that's my opinion. It sells like crazy. People love it. More power to them. Enjoy. Yeah. Who am I to take enjoyment away from anybody?
Like, yeah. Right. I liked Striper when I was a kid, and when I heard it on Sirius XM a while ago, I'm like, what the fuck is this, man? Like the singer in that band is so fucking annoying, man. It's just so. I'm like, how did I fucking like this? I mean,
I was right there with you.
And we've had the whole conversation about faith and stuff, and I'm not gonna go down the whole faith path again. But fuck me, dude, it's just so fucking annoying. And then they went from like the yellow and black to the blue and black, like they were evolving and turning dark stripers. Like, if you can't fucking do that, you're a Christian band. You're a fucking Christian band for the rest of your life. You can't evolve like secular music, right? As they would call it. You can evolve all you want because you're not locked in a box. But Christian rock and Christian musicians, they're locked in that box.
Yes.
You cannot step out of that box.
No.
You step out of that box, man. The Christian followers and the fucking
they'll crucify
those
you.
fans are just going to fucking destroy you for. Oh my God, for leaving that. Like, there's a chick, Amy Grant. She was huge in the 80s. Right. Huge in the 80s. And then she had an affair on her husband with Vince Gill, and they fucking like just destroyed her. Like, she's a human, right? But she's still, I mean, that's one of those things in the Bible, you know, what is it? Do not covet thy neighbor's wife.
Yes. You got it.
Whatever it was. But yeah, fucking just lit her up. And I could be wrong about the names I could be wrong if it was Amy Grant and Vince Gill, but it was something to that effect. Somebody on that level of musical popularity at the time, you know.
Okay.
Just whatever.
Did you ever see the Eagles?
Yeah, it's fucking yeah. Never saw the Eagles live. I've never ever, unfortunately.
Okay, so you know Vince Gill's and
Vince Gill took over for Glenn Frey?
Correct.
Yeah.
Not cool, man.
Okay.
Not cool.
Okay. No, and Glenn Frey's kid's in there now, right?
Yeah, and I can accept that. And I love Vince Gill as a guitar player, man. I'm not real crazy about his singing, but he's a fantastic musician. I don't know. Maybe I should be more accepting because poor Glenn's dead. And, you know, when somebody's dead, you got to just accept the next guy up. And I did watch some video, and they do sound good. So it's... to me, it's just not the same because I saw them live and they
Yeah,
were
but it
one of the
kinda goes-
bands that just blew me away on a level like,
Right.
you know, the Eagles, Metallica.
Yeah.
I don't know. It
Yeah.
kind of stops there as far as bands that made me go, holy fuck, you know?
Uh-huh.
Queensryche.
Yeah. Well, because they were the shit. I mean, the harmonies and stuff. Yeah, the harmonies and stuff that the Eagles pulled off back then, being the backup band for Linda Ronstadt. I mean, you know, they're coming out of
and they did it
they
live, man,
They're
flawlessly.
they're like Def Leppard, right?
Yes.
Right.
There's another one
it's
blew
like,
me away.
Like they were the folk. They're the folk version of Def Leppard because because Def Leppard they harmonize with their guitars and the guitars harmonize with each other. People don't.
Yes.
Those that watch us and listen to us, if you don't know that, Def Leppard's fantastic and just amazing for the harmonies they've incorporated in their music, not just their vocals, but the music, the guitars, like everything is just. I would love to hear
Metallica
that. Like,
too.
you know, the whole behind the music shit they used to do where they would break down like behind the records, right? They used to do that shit on VH1 where they would, you know, behind the album, right? Like I remember there was a Rush one and they would break down and they would take the vocals and this is Geddy's vocals and then take those away and then here's Alex's guitars and just sync, you know, and you could hear that. It was kind of cool to watch it and hear their individual playing and parts. So the Eagles and Def Leppard would just be fucking badass to just be able to sit there and do that. Oh, here's all these, you know, we have 32 channels back then, right? Because back in the 70s, what, it was 8 reel for the most part, right? And they were pulling that shit
probably
off
up till
in
about
recordings.
Yeah, early to mid 70s, they only had probably 16 tracks at the most. Well, Tony would know all that because he was there. We'll ask him.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, so
the Eagles probably got up to 24.
Having a band like the Eagles, which is what, 6 but still, with the amount of members they had and the amount of instruments they played, because it wasn't just the standard stuff. They had all these other little instruments, you know, underlying and rhythm guitars and leads and all that kind of jazz and
steel guitars.
It'd be fucking cool to be a fly on the wall in those sessions with, to just hear all that shit recorded because, you know, a lot of it had to be laid down live and then go in afterwards and kind of clean it up and, you know. And Def Leppard, I don't think they had anything, but Bob Rock did a couple of their things, right? And
Def Leppard was Mutt Lange.
Even if you don't like Def Leppard, just the. Oh, was it Mutt Lange? Okay, that's right.
Yeah, AC/DC.
Yeah, he was married to Shania Twain.
Correct.
It probably still is.
Yes.
Okay.
That dude.
Okay. Well, gotcha.
That's another question for Tony. I think that dude potentially has sold more records than anybody on the planet. Think about all the billion.
Mutt Lange?
Yeah, he Back in Black. Hysteria. Like everything he touched turned to diamond. Yeah.
I knew. Oh.
Shania Twain.
Wow.
He produced all those songs.
Right. So Mutt Lange, Bob Rock. Who was the other guy? Rick Rubin, Mutt Lange, and
yes.
And what did we just fucking say? Because Rubin did a lot of stuff. Rick Rubin, that's
Mutt
like
Lange.
a lot. Chili Peppers and REM. I want to say off the top of my head. Yeah. Was that Mutt Lange?
Mutt Lange.
Mutt Lange. And
Rick Rubin, Bob Rock.
Bob Rock. That's what it was.
Yes.
Bob Rock. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how many what those three have touched and done for the music industry.
Unbelievable.
Over the years. You know.
Because Rick Rubin was the producer for Death Magnetic, which was Metallica's comeback album where everybody accepted them again. You know, I never didn't accept them, but, you know, the fan base came back on Death Magnetic, and Rick Rubin was kind of at the helm for that one. They say he was absent a lot, but that's kind of his style, so.
I don't really foresee. I can't really imagine Metallica giving a producer power.
They did with Bob Rock.
You know,
we watched it live on film.
Yeah, I think because Bob.
It took them a while, but they eventually gave in.
It's Bob Rock, though.
Look what happened.
Yeah,
he blew him up. You know.
Oh yeah, right.
This is the rest of your life.
Even more so. Who did the Van Halens?
Ted Templeman for the most part.
Who did the Van Halen shit?
Eddie Van Halen.
Okay.
But
all of them?
Ted Templeman got some credit.
Okay. Oh, wow.
I think Eddie had a lot to do with...
Eddie produced all that shit?
I think he had a lot to do with a lot of things. But yeah, Ted Templeman oversaw... He kept everything running. I've read many articles, books on, who did what in Van Halen. The one thing that you can give Ted Templeman credit for is that anything ever got done. So he was the guy that said, hey, time to quit drinking, time to quit doing the blow, time to go in there and record some music, Yeah. He was that guy. And those are a lot of stories I'm sure you'll hear from Tony is, when you're in the working part of a music business, you're the guy that says, hey, it's time to quit fucking off and we got to go now. Those are the unsung heroes of the rock world, is the people that, deal with the attitudes and the egos and the addictions.
Yep. Attitudes and egos.
I think that's one thing that
So what's been going on since last week?
I was going to say, I think that's one thing that since we've started doing this podcast that I've thought of more than anything is what a complete, not egomaniac or control freak, but just how much of that shit I cared about back then, that just wouldn't mean anything to me now. Like wasting any amount of energy on that kind of thought.
That just comes with age though, man.
It does. And I remind myself that, but it's just funny to look back and it's like, man, you cared about stupid shit. Like what people looked like and who wrote what and who did what. And we didn't have a lot of that.
But you have, but see, no, but back when we were doing our thing, image was still such a huge part of music, the music scene locally and nationally. You had to have something that differentiated you from the next band coming on stage. It was all part of the image and the complete package, so it wasn't.
You're right.
I don't think we ever dwelled on what we look like, but like you alluded to from like with Rick, like he didn't originally, looking at you, myself, and Scott, like where did Rick fit in?
He made himself blend very well, didn't he?
Fuck, he fits in because he's a hell of right. Yeah, because he's a hell of a musician. He brought so much to the table that he owned his space, which was cool. He owned, and that was he had a presence on stage because it was just he had his spot. You had a presence, I had a presence. Scott was hiding behind the drums, so you just heard him.
Yes, he had a lot of drums.
But yeah, you had to have something, and I still think that's true today. Because like if you look at bands today and their photo shoots and shit, they all kind of have the same look. You don't have a lot of, like everybody's wearing the same kind of dark colors. You know what I mean? So there's still a look. There's still image. Image still plays a part. In the pop world, it's huge, right?
Correct.
But in the rock metal world, it's not as much. But Billy Squier's career ended because he was wearing a pink tank top and playing on a bed.
That's technically not true.
The dude was a fucking. I know, but still,
I know what you're saying.
It's kind of where it kind of went.
You want to hear a funny Billy Squier story?
Yeah.
So I love Billy Squier as a guitar player and musician.
I love Billy Squier too, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know you do.
Absolutely.
Listen, man. Mm-hmm. Actually, my favorite Billy Squier album is one that nobody ever listened to, which is Here and Now. Mm-hmm. It came out after the last big album he had, where, like you said, he fucked himself by listening to stupid producers. I read up on him because I always wondered what happened to him. I'm like,
Rock Me Tonight.
How can you stop a guy that's that talented?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
You can't. He became the most sampled
because he was huge, man.
Artist in the hip-hop world for his drum beats that it inspired me to go back and listen to nothing but the beats in Billy Squier's music. And let me tell you, I get it now. The reason he was so successful is his rhythm section kicked ass.
He played the drums?
No, just the way that he played guitar inspired that drummer to do things that normally probably wouldn't be done. Just like Scott did things I would write things and he'd like look at me going, you're going to have to play that over and over and over again because it's in some weird time signature and I love it, but it's going to take me a minute to figure out what to do. Yeah.
I remember him doing that.
He's like, just keep playing it. I like it. Don't change it. Because I would always feel
what was the name of it?
I was inferior. It's called Here and Now.
Yeah. Okay, because I'm looking it up. Because when you tell me like music,
you'll
I
love
go to
it,
my
dude.
iTunes.
It fucking rocks.
Here and Now,
from beginning to end. It's one of those. Not a bad song.
I was just. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. Yeah, it gets 5-star reviews.
I'm telling you.
You
hear how excited I am
years ago.
I don't get that excited.
Yeah. Yeah, I was surprised years ago. The Essential Blues Squire, I got it for like $6. I'm like, what the fuck? Why is he only being sold for $6? It was crazy.
I think he did all right.
Tied up and 6 other items cannot be downloaded or retry. Yeah. What is there? There's 10 songs on there, and okay. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them have a popularity checks on them.
They're just so catchy, dude. You're gonna dig it. You can't not turn it up.
Okay.
I'm gonna listen to it tomorrow now that I'm inspired.
Okay.
That thing should have sold minimum 3 million
There's a song
copies.
in here called.
Say that again.
And what did it do? Million? How much did it sell?
I have no idea.
Any idea?
You'd have to look it up, or I can look it up, or whatever. Not good because grunge came out, I believe.
No, that's one thing I like. That's one. Oh yeah, well that shit happens, That's one thing I like about our conversations, man. Is then it's like, oh yeah, music.
Oh yeah, and it's reminding me of
band. Oh, try this album because I don't,
Same thing. It's reminding me of albums I need to go back and listen to because they inspire me to, want to play. A lot of music is just music, but certain albums like that one just make the gears start turning,
Yeah.
It's so well put together. It's a shame that it didn't sell more. And my buddy Mark Trainer turned me on to that. If he ever happens to listen to this podcast, thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. I would have never heard it myself if it wasn't for him. I was probably 16 when he showed it to me. He's like, hey, he knew I played guitar. So he's like, you got to hear this, man. This album kicks ass.
Play guitar. I got to tell Skylar she can come home. You can come home. The air conditioning's fixed. So the Edition air conditioning is like not even a year old, and this fucking thing, this electronic thing in it, the brains that keeps it energy efficient, just wasn't even fucking. It was 100 degrees, right?
Correct.
Which in Arizona is not hot. Okay,
no,
it's just not hot. To me, I mean, you ask Nikki, she'll tell you something completely different. So yesterday I'm out watering the trees because I planted new trees between making calls and shit. Because I called like 30 people yesterday. Part of the real estate guy world. So I didn't mean to do that in the microphone. I'm sorry, listeners. So when I went out to like a 1:30, it was fine running, and then she gets a little man comes home from school at like 3:00. She's like, "Oh my God, it's 81 degrees in here." I'm like, "How's that possible? It was fine." So in a half an hour, that thing just burned out. So I called my buddy Javier Romero. Shout out Javier, rock star. Thank you.
Right on.
He's a guy, a family I sold a house to years ago. Super, super nice human. Just, really, really cool family. Just, and I'm not saying that just because he came out and took care of me, but he just really is a really nice human, and his family's super cool. Very well respected family. They take care of each other, that type of thing. Old school,
I love people like that.
So he had given me another AC guy because he works for totally. And he works for colleges, Maricopa County Community Colleges. So he goes around with their air conditioning shit. So he's never really readily available for me, which I get. So he said, call this guy. So I had his buddy come out, Francisco, and he did a tune up on the train. And I was like, I don't need to tune up the other one because it's not even a year old. Well, and even if he had tuned it up, he wouldn't have found this because the circuit, the EMS control is a brain, and it just burned out. I'm like, fuck does that burn out, man? And he's like, it burns out all the time. But now you have this new one, and it's a 5-year warranty, so you're good. I'm like, sweet. So he came out and diagnosed it and fixed it, and $600 later. Which the cool thing about him is a $300 part, right? And just so you know, listeners, check this shit out, Mike Michaels.
Okay.
Every air conditioning has a capacitor. Just reference the flux capacitor, okay? Every AC unit has a capacitor.
Correct.
Okay.
I do know
the capacitor is a $12 part. $12 part.
Okay.
99.9% of your air conditioning companies will charge you between $600 and $800 to replace that $12 part. That's insane.
I have heard this.
12.
I've heard the other
so
side.
The part, the little
of how much it costs.
Right. So the brain that he. Right. What's the other? Right. It's insane, man. It's insane. It's a $12 part.
That's quite a markup.
And they're not there for fucking 5 hours. Right. They're there for, that's a half an hour. Because I've had one fixed. When we lived in Chandler, our capacitor went out. And that dude charged me $400, which I thought that was fair. But then when I realized it was a $12 part, that motherfucker made $400 in 30 minutes for taking the housing off, putting it on the ground, doing his little screwdriver, taking something out, and then taking the old thing out, putting the new thing in, checking it, make sure, yeah, in 30 minutes. Insane. Just absolutely insane. It's kind of like with
he made
there's an air conditioning company out here called Simplify, which I'm like, oh, right. So air conditioning company out here called Simplify Heating and Cooling, which obviously I'm like, oh, Simplify Marines, right? I got it. I totally got it. He made $388.
It's all good. It's all good.
I was on a tangent, man.
I know. Go ahead.
I was on a ramble. So Simplify Heating and Cooling. Yes, I'm name dropping because this is going to blow your mind.
Okay.
They had an ad out on the Instagram, so I clicked on it just to see, right? And they wanted between $13,000 and $18,000 for an air conditioning and heat pump.
I believe it.
Air conditioning and furnace combo. You go online, okay, but you go online to companies that wholesale them. You can get the same shit for $3,000 to $6,000, or $3,600 to $5,600.
But then don't you have to know how to install it?
Guy to install them. You get a local AC guy to install them. Like Javier installed our air conditioner. Our contractor got an air conditioner, it was delivered. Once the house was ready to have it installed, then Javier came out and installed it.
Listen, man,
he hooked it up. I paid him to hook it up, everything. The catch is
we don't have.
Yeah, go ahead.
We don't have all the resources that you do in a city of that size to know. I knew a lot of people like that too when I lived in Phoenix. But when you live around here.
Phoenix.
I guess you would have to know somebody that worked for one of those places and get them to do it on the side, or get my brother to give up his time, which I did. I had to go from one of those little mid-size water heaters. Like they don't even make these anymore. So you either have small or you have big, right? I had a mid-size, so my whole thing had to be repiped.
Okay, yeah.
And Matt came over and did it. He sweated together like 23 new copper joints for me, installed my water heater, and knock on wood, hasn't leaked a drop to this day. So thank you again, Matt. That was awesome. It's impressive. Like I said, it's not just musicians I'm impressed with. It's anybody that has skills that, if I wanted to, I suppose maybe I could learn how to do it, but I have no desire to do it. So to watch somebody that has those skills is just as impressive as watching somebody play a guitar or drums or sing or whatever,
I agree with that 100%.
So,
and we're at the mercy of people like that if we don't know what you're doing. So it's kind of cool to have somebody that you know and trust that can do those things. Because had Matt not done that, you could have got hosed by a plumber.
He told me that would have been about $1,200 at the time.
I could have got hosed by an AC guy. Yeah,
I made him take.
Which I don't have a problem paying people for.
He didn't want anything. I made him take like $50 for his gas or whatever because I wrote the check for $50 over. It's like you either don't take the check or you're getting 50 extra bucks. And he's not stupid. He took the check. So
yeah.
People's time is worth something.
Nowadays you can just Zelle people money. Like
I don't do Zelle, but
I 100% agree.
Venmo,
absolutely.
I'll do that.
Yeah. Well, I do. Yeah, I do Venmo too, but I do Zelle. I Zelled Javier when before he even got here for his service call yesterday. He got here. I was like, "Did you get your service call fee?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Right on." And then they worked all morning to find a replacement part, and he's like, "I'm coming over." I'm like, "Sweet," and got done working out, dropped my truck off to get my tires rotated and stuff, and then boom, he was done. He's on his way back. So I was like, "That's cool." Speaking of which, tires rotating. I got to make sure I don't miss a phone call, but my tires being rotated are being finished anyway. Do you know that? Do you have an iPhone?
Yes.
Does your iPhone transcribe?
Yes.
It's a trip, and then sometimes it doesn't transcribe, and I don't know why.
Everybody laughs at my iPhone because I bought the 13 mini because it fits in my pocket.
Okay.
And my phone's like a third the size of everybody else's. It's so tiny.
I have this is the 15, and it's not too big, I mean, it's
mine's super small. It's like
relatively. Well, here.
It's hard to tell, It looks big in the screen. It's not.
Well, that's my point of reference. Here's my microphone. So put it up to my microphone, Mike.
Here, let me put it up to your microphone. Oh, there you go. It's bigger than your microphone.
Is that Led Zeppelin on your phone?
Yeah. There. Oh.
Okay. Yeah, right on.
What the fuck? Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Mighty Led Zeppelin.
You betcha. Been there for like 10 years.
Yeah. I said, yeah, right on, dude.
12 years, 13 years.
You betcha.
I don't change that.
I'll give you 2 guesses what's on mine. I'll give you 3 guesses.
I think I only need one.
I don't change mine either.
Probably
mine's
your grandkids.
It's the Statue of Liberty.
Oh shit, I was way off.
On Paris on Ellis Island in the sunset.
Very nice.
Yeah. Nothing
wrong with that either.
Yep. Statue of Liberty. It's badass, and you can't see it, but on the top of it there's an American flag, but you can't really see it because the way it sets. But there's a flag there.
Chris, ladies and gentlemen, is a true
little man's on my pad.
American patriot, and I am a rebellious asshole. No.
There's me and little man on the pad. That's my favorite.
Well, that's
you
awesome.
Can't really see him, but that's my favorite picture of him and I because he's looking.
That's awesome.
I don't remember who took that, but it was just like, oh, he's laughing and yeah, that's my favorite picture of him.
You guys are like face to face.
He's a funny little dude. This morning he didn't want to go to school, man. When we got to school today, he dropped into like a little fetal ball on the back of my truck in the back seat and didn't want to get taken to school. I was like, what the fuck is this about? You love school.
Not today.
Oh, weird. He slept at our house last night because their room. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird. It was weird. I didn't get to go to lunch with your mom. She was here, and I was like, oh, we should do lunch, and then the week got away from me. So sorry about that, Kay.
I'm sure it got away from her, too.
Okay. Did she have fun while she was here? Who was she visiting?
Her sister. My aunt.
Was she just visiting friends?
No, her sister lives in Mesa.
Right on.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they went all over the place. They went up north. They went down to Tucson. She had quite a week. I haven't seen her since she's been back. I go over there on Saturday morning for breakfast. So she came back on Sunday, and I've been working every day since then. So,
right on. What do you have for breakfast on Saturday mornings at the Michaels household?
Usually cinnamon rolls and coffee.
Is it standard, like same stuff? Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Does she make them from scratch?
Ooh. Yes, she says she does. So we're going to go with that. Not going to give away her secret.
Outstanding.
I sit there and I drink coffee with my dad, and cinnamon rolls show up on my plate, and I'm not going to ask any more questions.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't happen at my house because I'm the only one here taking applications for future misses.
Right. Right.
You better have your shit together and be able to put up with somebody
Anybody
who's
wants to
slightly
make Mike,
insane.
cinnamon rolls, you know. Slightly.
Yeah. Not dangerous, just kind of crazy.
Not dangerous.
No.
Just kind of crazy, but nice. But
no,
fun.
I don't have ambition to be dangerous.
Well read, well spoken.
Thank you. Yes.
No. You're welcome. So, hey, where are we at? We're like at 40 minutes, but I figured we just segue here. So we've always talked about band names, and I've always loved the name Dead Animal Pickup just because of graphics and things, and So I Googled because I figured we could talk about crazy band names, and there's a lot of them. So this is definitely not a top 11 thing. So this is not near the ending of the show, but I think this will lead to some funny conversations. So in no particular order, I just went to the Google machine and I typed in craziest band names ever.
Okay.
The first one that came up is pretty fucking crazy. It is a okay, well, that's funny. It's a metal band name called Anal Cunt.
Oh yeah. Oddly enough, I've heard of this band.
And the paragraph I've never heard of them. So the paragraph below them, beneath them is Seth Putnam was a deeply disturbed and fucked up man. He was also a massive piece of shit, but at least he gave us Anal Cunt. That is the legacy of Anal Cunt. So there you go. We've all heard of Butthole Surfers. I don't think that's really crazy, but it's clever.
Great band.
Yeah. This was a funny one. This is a rock band, Diarrhea Planet.
Have not heard of that one.
Frontman Jordan Smith and his Jordan Smith said his Nashville punk collective intentionally sought a name that would be annoying and immature. Diarrhea Planet. They call him rock.
He succeeded.
He referenced them as punk, so go figure that out. He did.
Yeah,
he did.
If that was his mission, he succeeded. Well done.
This is right. This is one that's relevant to Arizona.
Okay.
Dogs Die in Hot Cars. It's an alternative indie band. But yeah, Dogs Die in Hot Cars.
It doesn't say when they were active, does it?
Yeah. No, it doesn't really say anything.
I don't remember that one.
Well, Hoobastank, Dogs Die in Hot Cars, and Panic at the Disco, I think they played together or something. I don't think this is a crazy band, but maybe I don't understand it. Hoobastank.
I know who they are, obviously. Everybody does.
Right?
I guess maybe I don't get it either. I don't know. Kind of square.
Yeah. Let's see if you're looking for a deep meaning in the name of Hoobastank, you're disappointed. It was fun to say at the time, so we named ourselves that.
Kind of like the Foo Fighters.
It sounds vulgar and gross, but yeah, right?
Did you ever hear Dave Grohl say if he thought they were
actually stylize it as?
Did you ever hear Dave Grohl say if he thought they were going to be that successful, he surely would have thought of a better name?
Really?
Oh yeah.
No,
that's a direct quote.
That's awesome. No shit.
Yeah.
What? I would like to know the meaning behind where he came up with that. Then
the Foo Fighters.
Yeah,
they were German. That's what they called German kamikaze pilots.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
No shit.
Yeah, because the Germans had kamikaze pilots too. I'm pretty sure that's what they were. Had something to do with World War II.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I could be completely wrong on that. Only I know 100% it had to do with World War II.
I'm gonna agree that you're 100% right because you're smart. You're wicked smart. Here's one that is terrible.
Bunch of useless knowledge.
It's terrible. It's a Japanese grindcore band. Right. Well, everybody has useless knowledge, Mike. I have tons of useless knowledge, like I pulled out fucking Gary Rollins' Journey original lead singer last week.
Yes, you did.
Oh yeah, that's the dude. Holy shit.
Impressive.
So this, thank you very much. This Japanese grindcore band chose a name that is both juvenile and repulsive, likely alienating a significant portion of potential listeners. They're called Bathtub Shitter. Right? Bathtub Shitter.
I got nothing, dude. I got nothing.
One of the most infamous and lovely band names ever.
I would have to go
Osaka, Japan.
No.
A 4-piece.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
I vote no.
No. And I don't think this is I don't think this is a dumb name, but that, Goo Goo Dolls. I don't know what Goo Goo Dolls ever meant, but I never looked at that as a crazy name.
The one that I said was, No.
He got it.
I didn't say it was stupid.
What?
I got a letter from I probably shouldn't out him on the podcast, but I got a letter from a person that went on to create a very successful television program. And by very successful, I mean like many, 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 many seasons.
Okay.
This guy never has to work another day in his life.
Okay.
I had a letter at one time that got left behind in Arizona, but direct quote, went downtown LA, saw this great new band from Seattle. They're going to be huge. Dumbest fucking name ever. They're called Pearl Jam, but they're going to change the world. He saw them at like a mason jar kind of place, that held like 200, 300 people.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When nobody knew who they were.
Wow. And he knew so he knew they were going to explode, but he said it was the stupidest name ever.
Yeah. Now, can you imagine them being named anything else?
Crazy.
It's just some things work. I thought Candlebox was fucking stupid till I heard their music.
Yeah.
Then it made sense. Some things just work because the music's so good. I don't know why I thought it was stupid.
I like their name. I never thought it was stupid.
I'm just being honest. I thought it was stupid before I heard the music. I'm like, Candlebox.
No, I know what you. I know. No.
Sometimes I gotta hear the music before it makes sense.
Agreed.
Like if you call your band
Goo Goo Dolls isn't crazy name.
If you name your band Obituary, I expect to hear death metal, and that's exactly what they are. But if you named your band Obituary and you were like gospel music, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, I could see that. That's why I don't think Goo Goo Dolls should be in that list. It's a weird name, but it's not. Limp Bizkit isn't. Oh, there you go. So this will be. So I've never really been into Limp Bizkit, so I thought, right? But there's a song that Nikki likes, so I downloaded his. Was it the best of? I think. I didn't realize how many fucking good songs that dude wrote.
Right. Yeah. Agreed.
I had no idea.
Very talented band.
I knew that Nookie. Yeah, I knew Nookie was about his relationship with Britney Spears, and so that was the one that was rotated on MTV all the time.
Break Stuff was their best song.
But I popped that shit in when I was. Okay, I popped that shit in when I was doing yard work on my tractor, and just because I can my AirPods will what the fuck is it? They knock out the sound. Like I don't hear the tractor. All I hear is what's the music, So
noise
it's kind of cool. It's a nice way to listen to, Like, hey, there you go. See, fucking genius you are, dude.
Tech support. Yeah, I'm good for tech.
Toad the Wet Sprocket. That's just a stupid name.
Great band though. Great band though.
Yeah, Toad the Wet Sprocket, which I like some of their stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Very catchy pop stuff. Yeah, that was a good indie. They called that shit indie back in the day. It wasn't grunge. It was indie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever the fuck any of that means. It's just music.
Alternative indie. Right. It's just music, man. It's just music for the masses.
I wrote a catchy little song.
Here's a Peruvian death metal band. Right.
Peruvian?
Indie music. A Peruvian death metal band opted for an exceedingly repulsive name called Anal Vomit.
I listened to
Anal vomit.
I listened to too many
I think that's
wicked
diarrhea
podcasts because I've actually heard of them too.
Okay. What about Bowling for Soup? Have you heard of them? Bowling for Soup.
Actually, that sounds oddly familiar
they're a
too.
rock band.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, a rock band. Early 2000s.
Okay.
They made waves in the early 2000s with their single 1985 about a mom stuck in the 80s. Bowling for Soup.
I'd probably know it if I heard it.
Devil Wears Prada. That's not stupid. Yeah, Devil Wears Prada is a band name, but that was obviously taken off from the movie. You know,
Right.
It's a metal band. Chumbawamba.
Yeah.
I remember that name. I don't remember their music, but Chumbawamba, that was definitely 80s.
You'd remember the hit.
It's a group of
Tub Thumping, I think, was the name of the song.
Okay.
You'd remember it right away.
Okay. Yeah. It says they were it says they were a group of anarchists from the 80s. Anarchy.
Love anarchy.
This is a fun one.
Not really.
Let's see. So this band name, they debated whether to include this electronic dance house outfit, as they generally go under the moniker Crazy P, but their name is actually Crazy Penis. And their album Dismemberment was released in 2003. Crazy Penis Band, Dismemberment.
I give them an E for effort.
Yeah.
They at least thought it all the way through. Right? You got to give credit where credit's due. They thought it all the way through. All right.
Absolutely.
E for effort.
Absolutely.
You're going to hear that a lot on this podcast, by the way.
E for effort.
Yep.
There's a band called Foetus, Foetus.
Yeah.
You got Foetus on your breath. Yeah, I fucking know what that means. And this one, I mean, this is not necessarily crazy, but that probably because it's just so mainstream. Hootie and the Blowfish.
I actually thought that was good at the time.
And I believe this. I've heard this before. It's widely. I did, and I still do it. And it's I always believe this too, that Hootie was Darius Rucker,
Sure.
and that's just what they. It was his nickname or something.
Yeah.
You know.
I think they all admitted he was the leader.
This is a long ass band name. Yeah. I don't know how this is a Mexican gore grind band. Whatever the fuck that is.
I think
you
I've
ready
heard
for this
of
name? Paracococidio Mycosiprocostarius communicosis.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it either, but they've been around for a long time.
It's that fucking long. It's that big white thing on the top. That's the band name.
Yes.
Right there.
Yeah, I know.
That's
I'm
fucking
familiar.
crazy.
And
that
they
wouldn't
are
fit
heavy.
on the marquee, man. That wouldn't fit on
They
the
are
marquee.
heavy duty, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like guar.
Grindcore. I don't even know what grindcore is, Mike.
Skater music.
Oh, okay.
Skater music
puts it all in
combined
perspective.
with hardcore hip hop. It's like heavy metal hip hop, skater music, kind of grindcore. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Very beat, like you could
Okay.
slam dance to it, kind of shit. Yeah.
Oh,
People that love it. You know, that's their thing.
that's interesting.
Not my thing, but it's their thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the cool thing about music, man. It speaks to anyone and everyone.
That was my Donald Trump for the
It doesn't matter what
day.
you like. You like something, and it's
their thing. It's not my
Nice.
thing. It's their thing.
Oh, you
Their
love-
thing. They love it. They love it. I
That's their
don't.
thing?
I never said I loved
It's
it,
very-
but they love it, and there's nothing wrong with them loving it. They can love it all they want. That's great. It's going to be huge,
Right.
huge.
Right.
There you go. All right. I was like, they love it. I don't love it. I felt like Donald Trump for a minute.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you. That's funny. Rape Man.
Never heard of it. Glad I've never heard of it.
Chicago's 80 band.
Oh,
Rape
Jesus.
Man.
Chicago let me down.
Yeah, the name was derived. The name was it was derived from a Japanese comic book. Oh, speaking of weirdness, so Nikki and I do this thing once a month. Squirrel. That Harkins movie theater. They have mystery cinema.
Okay.
Okay. So you don't know what you're going to see. You just know it's something. Like it's $5 tickets, right? And Skylar got me this popcorn. Skylar and Jake got me popcorn rewards. So literally, it costs us $14 to go to the movies.
Nice,
right? Right. It's cool. So last night we went and saw it. It's the fourth Monday of the month or something. It was a movie called Boy Kills World.
Okay.
I thought it was really entertaining. It was like about 90 minutes. The whole premise was: Have you ever seen The Hunger Games? Have you ever seen The Hunger Games?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. You froze, so I just froze myself. You froze, so I just went like this.
Okay. Everybody's on the same page now.
What the fuck? Okay, so you got The Hunger Games. Right.
You're killing.
So you have The Hunger Games, and have you ever seen that? There's a Netflix show. What the fuck? It was a chick. It was a weird little. Oh my god, Nikki and I watched it. They're all look like nuns, but it's a weird story. It's a weird concept to where society's dying, so it's like a dystopian type thing where you keep the fertile women, and then the men of the let's call it a cult impregnate these women while the wife is sitting, like the chick's laying on the bed, the wife's legs go around the shoulders, and the husband's having sex with them while right Hulu, Netflix, whatever, that show, right? I forget what it's called.
It'll come to me.
Which is right. So take those two kind of concepts, and this was Boy Kills World. So the opening scene is this wacko chick. It pulls out the people that are against their ideologies and put them up in the center of town and kills them, right? So this boy, he remembers it wrong because a shaman guy who hates this chick brainwashed him into thinking that his mother was actually somebody else, and he had to go kill this chick, which ended up being his mother. So the whole premise is him growing up and learning how to be this badass fighter and shit, and it takes you through the journey of him, going after this woman and realize it's his mother. But it was kind of trippy like that, really bloody, entertaining, not clever. I'm not gonna give it away because if you want to go watch it, there's a really, really I don't know what the fuck the guy was thinking, but it was brilliant. There's a cheese grater scene. Cheese grater, cheese grater.
The Handmaid's Tale, grater, for Christ's sake.
Where you got the two sides on this. Right. Brilliant scene with the cheese grater. So just be mindful of that if it hits Netflix and you watch it. Boy Kills World. And there's a brilliant cheese grater in it.
The show you were trying to think of was The Handmaid's Tale.
That's what I got.
And yes, I watched that too.
Yes, you are correct.
Yes, that was what that.
Yes, you are correct.
Chick from Mad Men.
Yep.
Whatever her name is. See, I don't know everything.
Yes,
right.
Which I didn't know she was from Mad Men because but you do. You knew she was the chick from Mad Men. I didn't know she was a chick from Mad Men because I never watched Mad Men.
Oh, Mad Men's amazing.
What the fuck? You didn't watch Mad Men? No, I haven't.
Amazing.
I've heard that.
Yes.
So it's one of our things.
Do yourself a favor.
Here, this is. Oh, I see. I read this wrong. Okay, yeah, I read this one wrong. I thought it said. It does say it. Test. What the fuck? I want to say it says testicles, but it's spaced. It's test space ickles. Testicles. The band. Short-lived British indie rock band. Testicles.
I give them an E for effort too.
And then this one. Yeah, this one's terrible. These all motherfuckers should be castrated. The child molesters. That's just fucking wrong.
Yes.
Dead. This is kind of stupid. The Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza. That's a metal band. The Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza. Now, for you younger kids out there, Tony Danza was a very well-known actor from the TV show Taxi and then Who's the Boss. Those were his two claim to fame.
Yes.
Tony Danza.
He probably only wants to claim Taxi.
This is kind of right. This is clever though. We butter the bread with butter. Can you imagine that? Hey, I'm Chris. Hey, thanks for coming out. We are Butter the Bread with Butter. Give it out for Mike Michaels on guitar, William Richie Carr III on bass, and behind me is Scott the drummer. Again, we butter the band with butter.
We butter the band.
If you have butter, please throw it at the stage. Just we butter the bread with butter.
You said we butter the band with butter. That's even better.
This is clever.
I like yours better.
Butter the band. Yeah, we butter the band with. That is better, right? We butter the band with butter
because now you got a visual.
I do.
Like
I like
these guys
that.
are fucking weird.
Yeah. 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 You get little if you bring little packages of butter to the shows, just toss them on stage, and then they'll be nice and warm. So when we're done, we can butter our bread with them. Because that's one thing I hate. Like when you go to like Texas Roadhouse or something, right?
Yes.
Or just places in general where they have rolls, they give you those little single servings of butter, right? But they're always fucking cold.
Yeah, it's not
like
good.
Panera Bread. Their whole world is bread.
Yes.
Right. And they give you these little hard, things of butter. So you got to put them in your pocket while you're sitting waiting for your food to warm up.
Is it
true story? We went to Panera Bread one time. They ran out of bread.
It's the whole source of your business. It's in the name. I've been to McDonald's when they have no hamburgers.
Right. I know.
True story.
That's what I was like. I'm like, you're out of. I was in the drive-thru and I was like,
your sign brags how many you sold.
Right. Right. How do you run out of your main staple? We went and then I don't know, within the same time frame, we went to this place called Sauce, which was I don't know, some kind of pasta pizza place. And we went up to the counter and we started talking about, we're out of sauce. But your name's Sauce.
It's your whole business.
It's kind of like that Seinfeld episode. Right. You can take the reservation. You just don't know how to hold it.
Correct. You're real good at taking it.
And then the last, right. But you can't hold it. The last one, which is, there's not even any reference to it. It's called the Abortion Twins, which is kind of stupid.
Yeah.
And then they added as a fuck, where'd it go? As a like honorable mention, the Circle Jerks.
Yeah, great band though.
Cop Stabber and Circle Jerks. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know how to say this. It's BHOPAO Bhopal Stiffs. Bhopal Stiffs. I don't.
Never heard of them.
But yeah, that's I haven't either. That kind of wraps that up.
You know who Rogan was talking about that I forgot about before you got on? I was listening to one of his episodes. The Flaming Lips.
No.
They were playing with Yoko Ono. And
I remember them.
Listen, Joe fucking hates Yoko Ono like there's no tomorrow because he just always harkens back to this clip where she ruined John Lennon's experience with Chuck Berry on national television. Bill Burr does a whole bit about it. If you got time, look it up on YouTube. It's one of the most hilarious things you will ever hear. But later on, Yoko played with the Flaming Lips, and Joe is waiting for the same kind of experience when she ruined this experience with Lennon and Chuck Berry. And it turns out it actually wasn't that bad because the Flaming Lips somehow knew how to make her sound halfway decent. And he actually liked it. But I forgot how good they were as a band. That's what it took, was somebody that was at that level of musicianship.
The Flaming Lips, yeah.
Yeah, they knew somehow how to make Yoko Ono sound good because she can't carry a tune in a bucket. They just put a bunch of effects on her voice. And it did. It sounded pretty good.
Yeah. Right on.
I just wanted to say I forgot how good they were as a band, and there's another funny band name that you're like, if you call yourself the Flaming Lips, you better be fucking good, and they were exceptional.
Yeah.
The joke
you know what's a trip? I watched because
the joke was we're a really good band. Stupid name.
Go ahead.
Actually, great name, but
stupid name. So so bands. I was scrolling through the Netflix 2 days ago.
Okay.
Came across a rockumentary of Duran Duran, right?
Great band.
Number one. And,
saw him live.
I always thought Simon Le Bon was gay, okay? And I'm probably not the only okay, and I'm probably not the only one that ever thought Simon Le Bon was gay, just because of how he looked over the years. Dude's been fucking married to a hot ass chick since '94, and they have several kids. So that blew me away, because the name of the documentary was Thought You Should Know, and I was like, oh shit. So they're just gonna drop it all. Because even when they're talking to someone, still like one of them, I forget what his name is, but he wears makeup, and when a man wears makeup, and I don't care if you're gay, straight, bi, it doesn't matter to me whatsoever. Love you, hate you, doesn't matter to me. I could care less. You could fucking be a drag queen, Mike. I'd still love you like a brother, because I don't care. To each his own.
Not much
for reference. Mike's not a drag queen.
No.
So, but I always just.
Oh, we're good in a dress.
But I always just thought, because perception and right, because you never saw, there was nothing in the world, the media, ever showing Simon Le Bon with a chick, and he always just kind of came across to me as very femme. Even when he was talking on this, and it must be a British thing, because anyway,
he's a beautiful European,
gorgeous wife, gorgeous kids, right, and that's what it is.
And then
part of the show was all about how, and how they were so into fashion.
That's a true story.
And Vogue, like John Taylor in his suitcase. Yeah, well, it's true. And John Taylor in his suitcases had Vogues. Like, they would go through Vogue magazines. He's like, I'm going through them for the girls, but then you get the style and shit. And so they interviewed Cindy Crawford, and she was like, I grew up on Duran Duran, and they were every girl's dream. Like, they were those kind of concerts, like, where it was 98% women, or in the crowd, because
that's when you made it.
Really good band though, with what they were, right? How they like when they met, they kind of pieced everything together piece by piece, and when Simon came into the mix, it was kind of like us, because I showed up with a lyric book, with a lyric bag. He showed up with a lyric book bag when he first met them, and then so they started going through these lyrics and shit. They're like, oh fuck, if this guy can sing, game over. And of course he could sing, and
I already knew you could sing.
But it's one of those things. It kind of, well, yeah, because of Candlebox Show. But it's one of those things that your society kind of forces. I don't know how to say it, but like legit. Like I really thought Simon Le Bon was gay, just because of how he looked and how he dressed and how he spoke, because that's how society kind of deemed back then. And obviously he's not, and he wasn't.
I did too, man. I'm not gonna lie.
It's that judgment thing that you don't mean to judge, and it's never like, yeah. Okay, So I think a lot of people probably did, but look him up. His wife's fucking just since '94, so long ass time. 2 kids that, just because I googled it afterwards, I'm like, what the fuck? And they broke up. They were apart for like 21 years, which I didn't know, because one of them went to do Power Station with Robert Palmer. Was that John Taylor? Was it Roger Palmer? Robert Palmer. Robert Palmer?
No. Yeah, that was the Power Station. Okay. Robert Palmer. You're right.
And then, okay, yeah, and then one of the other ones went, and they did another little side project. I don't remember what that one was. It wasn't relevant. It didn't really go anywhere. And then they came back, and they didn't really do anything their first couple albums, but then they released the album that had Ordinary World, which that's
great song.
One of my favorite songs they ever wrote, and how he sings that just right, just fucking.
So
that prompted me to actually go on and download their. Yeah, so I went and downloaded their greatest hits. So it's one of my lawnmower songs that I'll check out. Except I can't mow the lawn right now because my throttle's broken. It's snapped. So
that makes me hate that fucking guy even more.
Yeah.
Because that means that he got to spend about 8 or 9 years just probably fucking all the hottest chicks in the world and doing blow and touring the world, because they were famous in like 1984, right? So he didn't get married till 94?
They were, yeah.
Can you imagine how much fun those fucking guys had for 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. They're one of the biggest bands in the world still to this day.
One part of the... Yeah. Oh, yeah. And part of the rockumentary was they were at some castle somewhere where they're supposed to be recording and writing, and all they did was fuck around. Like they even talked about it, like the tennis and pool and swimming and bringing girls over all the time. He was getting high all the time. It just there was no work done whatsoever.
That's what
But
being
legit,
in a rock
like
band
they
is
were
supposed
doing,
to
they
be
had a scene where
sometimes.
they were
right?
Right. They were at yeah, absolutely. It's the rock and roll lifestyle.
No rules, man.
They were at a record signing, and they had to do it was in New York because they had to have the mounted police because so many people showed up to the autograph session that the cops had to be called to maintain the crowd. And they were talking about every time they went anywhere, they were just mauled by females. Just it was,
That's what I'm saying,
insane.
man. These guys were one of the biggest fucking bands in the world, and they still are today. I don't think people realize how big Duran Duran is because they kind of seem like they faded a little bit in the United States to us, but the entire rest of the world has been Duran Duran crazy forever. They could fill up a soccer stadium tomorrow if they wanted to play a show.
Yeah, I think one of their albums, Rio, was 18 million platinum, 18 million sold.
I believe that. That's a great album.
I think that's what it said. Yeah, so yeah, and then MTV, hooked them in there, and then they just from what they talked about once they started doing videos, it just exploded. Which MTV is such a great vehicle when they actually played music videos.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I think that's where you and I, being about the same age, watching all those videos, did they or did they not almost make that guy seem gay in the videos? Right? I think that's where we got it from.
Yeah.
They always portrayed him as kind of effeminate, but I think what we thought was effeminate back then was really just him having style,
Yeah.
He was wearing shit
British,
we never
because
saw
we don't
before.
know what British people are really like because no, exactly. And there was a time too when they talked about it that all the magazine covers, not just music related, but fashion related, they were on all of them, individually or collectively, because they just that's what they were. They were just, fashion rock, if that's a thing. Fashion rock.
The one thing I remember about seeing them live was the guitar player smoked one cigarette after another.
Yeah.
He always had a cigarette in his mouth. Yeah.
I knew a guitar player that used to put cigarettes on his frets, on his tuning fret up here, on the tuning pegs.
Yeah, there's still a burn mark there.
When he's playing, there's a cigarette sitting right there.
It's right there behind me, that one in the middle.
That's awesome.
Right.
There it is.
There.
If that guitar could talk.
It could tell some stories.
Oh, if that guitar could talk.
Oh, yeah.
Nikki's home. Hello, Nikki.
Hello.
All right. Hello. Mike says hello, Nikki. She says, hi, Mike.
I heard her.
How come you said it like that?
Because that's how she said
hi.
it.
Hi, Mike.
Because that's how she said it.
That's how she said it. Oh, look, here he is.
Hello, Mike.
Hello, Nikki.
That's better. He says, hello, Nikki. That was awesome. All right, I got to go pick up my truck.
All right, brother.
It's done. So our top 11 wasn't really a top 11, but we did talk about craziest band names, and if I remember, I'll put the link on the page.
Yes.
Just so people can read what we are talking about and see all the descriptions.
That would be awesome.
That's pretty interesting how they have little paragraph blurbs of the band names and why.
Yeah, that was fun.
I've meant to always kind of follow up on our page with shit, and I just forget sometimes, all the time, but not really. But so there's that. So to everybody out there in the podcast world, you're not alone. Tomorrow's always going to be a better day. So if you're struggling with something, right, don't be too down on yourself. Tomorrow is a better day. My buddy who I alluded to last week that just stopped drinking, he's doing awesome.
Good.
He sat down with the family and they all kind of decided that it doesn't control him. Like, he doesn't have the cravings we talked about today, like I did when I stopped drinking. But they just decided from a familial standpoint, he's just going to go 365 days without drinking and just kind of do it. And he's so far he feels fantastic. He loves it. He's not having any issues, and it's he used to do a lot of working out, bodybuilder type stuff, and he was an athlete, so he can kind of abstain, but it's kind of cool that everybody has the same focus and mindset.
That's
and we're all
awesome.
on the same page, which is good because that's the biggest thing, right? You want to get clean, you want to stay sober and stuff. You got to have family supporting you and friends and things like that.
You have to have support for sure.
Mike and I are here for you if you need it.
100%.
You do. Absolutely. All right, my friend.
Go get your truck, brother.
You have a wonderful day, man.
I'm going to go cook a ribeye.
I will.
So everybody be jealous. I would be.
Go cook a ribeye. Be jealous. All right, my friend. Have a great night.
You too,
talk
man.
to you next week.
All right. Later, brother.
All right, man. Love
Peace.
you, brother.
Love you too, man.
Peace.